I never imagined my Navy SEAL background would resurface in our peaceful suburban enclave. Yet, one afternoon, it roared back in the most vicious way. 3 imposter cops, clad in tactical gear, invaded our property, claiming to uphold HOA rules. One of them made a grave error. He struck my wife, Sarah. By day's end, their appearances were drastically altered from when they arrived. Before I continue, drop a comment with your country to see how far this tale spreads. It all began that morning when Sarah stepped out to tend the garden. She spotted an odd black SUV looping our street 3 times before parking opposite our house. 3 men emerged, dressed in dark vests with gleaming police badges stitched on. They seemed legitimate at first, but Sarah quickly sensed something amiss. Their belts were flimsy nylon with plastic holsters, and none carried radios, a dead giveaway, as real cops always have comms. The tallest man strode toward our lawn. "Ma'am, HOA compliance check," he snapped, flashing a badge so fake it could have come from a costume shop. Sarah coolly asked, "When did the HOA start employing cops?" The second man sneered, "We're not employed, lady. We're the authority here." Sarah demanded they leave, pointing out that entering private property without reason is illegal. Instead, the third man edged closer, hand on a cheap baton. When Sarah pulled out her phone to film, he knocked it from her grip and, in a moment that ignited my rage, slapped her face. That's when I stepped outside. I'd been in the garage sorting old equipment when I heard Sarah's shout. Seeing her holding her cheek as these frauds strutted like they ruled the place, my neighborly calm vanished, replaced by combat instincts. I approached them and said, "You picked the wrong house. You've got 5 seconds to say who sent you." The tallest smirked. "The HOA president said you've ignored notices. We're here to enforce compliance." He tried to intimidate me, but I've faced warlords and mercenaries. Suburban fakes don't faze me. I told Sarah to go inside and lock the door. She complied, knowing I was about to shut this down. I stepped closer, voice low, and warned, "Touch my wife again, and you won't walk away." They chuckled, but their confidence wavered when I demanded their IDs. They refused. Real officers must identify themselves when acting officially. That confirmed they were impersonating cops, a federal crime. Right there, in front of half the neighborhood, I decided they wouldn't get away with it. Realizing they were frauds, I dropped all restraint. I didn't throw punches yet but shifted into a combat stance, feet firm, shoulders set, eyes fixed. It was the same posture I'd used overseas when violence loomed. The trio sensed it, their laughter faded. The tall one, the apparent ringleader, pointed at me. "Think you can ignore HOA rules? Your truck, your fence, your so-called military dogs, we're here to enforce." I let out a grim laugh. "First," I said, voice sharp but steady, "my truck's parked legally, my fence meets city code, and those dogs are ADA-protected service animals. Second," I stepped closer, making him retreat, "you're trespassing and posing as officers. That's a decade in prison if you're lucky." The shorter one tried to bluff. "You can't threaten us. We'll cuff you right now." He fumbled with his fake belt, pulling out flimsy plastic cuffs that wouldn't hold a child. My patience ran dry. I moved swiftly, my left hand twisted his wrist until the cuffs fell, and my right elbow struck his jaw cleanly. He crumpled, groaning on the grass. The second guy swung his baton. I dodged, grabbed his arm mid-swing, and flipped him onto the concrete with a thud that hushed the gathering neighbors. The leader froze, eyes wide. He tried to keep up the act, yelling, "You're assaulting officers." I closed the gap, so close he could feel my intensity. "No, I'm stopping 3 thugs from attacking my wife." Big difference. Sarah reappeared, phone in hand, recording again. "Sheriff's on the way," she called. The leader swore and bolted for the SUV. I wasn't letting him escape. I grabbed his vest, pulled him off balance, and pinned him to the hood. He squirmed, but he was untrained, just bravado and a sewn-on badge. When the real deputies arrived, guns drawn, they shouted, "Hands up." I complied instantly, stepping back as Sarah pointed out the imposters. They hit me and claimed to be cops. The deputies stripped off the fake vests, and soon the truth unraveled. The ringleader cracked, admitting the HOA president paid them to intimidate us. This wasn't just harassment, it was a conspiracy. If you're hooked on this HOA saga, like and subscribe, as it's about to get wilder. At the sheriff's station, the 3 fake cops looked pitiful. Their costumes were bagged as evidence, their wrists bound in real cuffs, their story collapsing. They confessed the HOA president, Karen Ellis, hired them to scare us into compliance. When the deputies asked if I wanted to press charges, I said, absolutely. Impersonating officers and assaulting Sarah would cost them. Karen, however, doubled down, filing a lawsuit against me that evening, claiming excessive force and HOA defamation. She even called her thugs security contractors and said I overreacted. My lawyer chuckled at her filing. This is a gift, he said. We'll counter. Sue for harassment, assault, and conspiracy. Your video evidence seals it. In court, Karen sat smugly, whispering to her attorney. Sarah held my hand, steady, as our lawyer prepared to tear their case apart. The judge wasted no time. Karen's lawyer went first, but their argument crumbled when Sarah's video played. It showed her being slapped, my warnings, the fake badges, and their assault in clear daylight. The judge leaned back, unimpressed. These men are criminals, Mrs. Ellis, and you hired them. Your lawsuit is dismissed, and I'm sanctioning you for abusing the court. Our attorney stood, voice firm. Your Honor, we're filing a counterclaim for conspiracy, assault, and HOA harassment. My clients deserve justice. Karen paled as her facade shattered. The judge dismissed her case, held her liable for damages, and the HOA board members in the gallery avoided her gaze. Her reign of intimidation collapsed. The 3 imposters faced felony charges, held without bail. The sheriff shook my hand post-trial. Good thing you stayed calm, he said. Most would have frozen. You likely saved Sarah from worse. I nodded, holding Sarah close. Karen thought she could bully us with lies and hired goons. Instead, she lost everything.